it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know.
So McGregor's been flying under the radar for this one. He's been respectful, super humble, and focused on coming across as likable. I saw this thing from these three journalists here speculating about the unusual tone of proceedings. Brett Okamoto took McGregor at his word. Conor's been saying he's more of a reactive person.
I just react, like I said yesterday, I react how the situation is, and the situation has been good, so it's been respectful.
I think Conor said it best when he said, "I'm real. I'm not going to fabricate something here. I react to the situations as they are," and we can probably come up with some exceptions to that over the course of his career where he may have ratcheted it up a little bit. But
I thought this was hilarious. I mean, Conor is probably the least reactive fighter in the history of the sport. He set the tone in every single fight he's been involved in, including against the biggest combat sports athlete on the fucking planet. But all of a sudden, he's just Mr. Go with the flow. Oh yeah, you'd hardly notice him. He's more of a background guy, lets others dictate the tone. So the idea here is McGregor just rolls in and he sees Cowboy being respectful, so he's like, right back at you, buddy. Nice jacket. I love your hat. Where'd you get them boots? The whole fucking outfit, it just works. Cerrone, you look like $1 million. You're putting me to shame here.
That's one hell of a coat, Donald. My God. I gotta give credit where credit is due. You know what I mean? I don't know whether you've outdone me. I've got lions on the inside of my baby here. You know what I mean? But that's a damn good coat, brother. What is it now? Is it crocodile or?
It's python.
Python, good man.
Ariel had another theory.
You know, people are saying there's no mental warfare, right? There's no games being played. Is it possible that there actually are games being played by Conor McGregor where he's actually trying to butter him up and lure Cerrone, strip him down of his guard, make him feel like, oh, we're buds, we're just going to go in there, and then go in for the kill like a sniper? Because I feel like Conor is able to switch that on. Is it possible that Conor is actually playing mind games, but not the traditional mind games?
Ah, yeah, the old butter him up strategy. You hit him with the compliments, make Cerrone think you're gonna make out with him in the center of the cage, and then you smash him with a left hand when he least expect it. Cerrone won't know what hit him. The old high-level psychological switcheroo master plan. Genius. Now, I think there's a much simpler explanation as to why Conor wants to avoid getting into a shit-slinging contest, and it's a good thing none of these guys mentioned it. I could picture an anvil with the ESPN logo dropping out of the ceiling and squelching them out of existence. In my opinion, Conor's not caught in a war of words because he simply could not win one, at least in terms of the fallout from the PR. There's just been too much dirt in him in the last year. McGregor's been clear about avoiding certain topics, keeping everything positive.
There you go. I want to keep the positive. Look, you know what the bad is. You know what the bad comes with this life, you know?
In fact, that's part of why he picked Cerrone. McGregor has been totally evasive about the allegations made against him. He did address them briefly with Ariel, where he denied them.
Is there anything that you want to say about these allegations that have been written about you, that have been said about you?
Look, no. I can't say anything about this. It just has to take place, right?
Does it bother you that these things are out there, that people call you,
Would it bother you?
Yes.
There you go. But positivity, good thoughts, and I'll say a prayer for those who try and curse me or try and bring harm to me with these type of things, and that's it.
And he also indicated he chose Cerrone because he was showing respect.
And I respect that, and I also respect the method he went about with the proper whiskey, and there's so much work goes into these things, and to see that bit of respect, I appreciate that.
Not only did he appreciate Cerrone for being respectful, but he disqualified Justin Gaethje for being too gobby about his issues outside the cage.
Justin's it's a little too heavy the way he was going on at certain things, or say a lot of people are saying certain things or following these narratives, these vicious narratives that are going around about me, and I'm like, I'm just putting that on the back burner for a minute. And
so he basically admits it. He went for the more predictable, respectful guy because he wanted to avoid negative press. If that's the case, it worked. Cerrone is so agreeable. This journalist comes in and tries to ask the tough questions and just gets booed into silence. But it's actually Cerrone who jumps to Conor's defense.
Hey, a couple quick questions for Conor about your legal issues. What can you tell us Yeah, we're here to talk about a fight. Nothing he does outside of fighting. Why you got to keep going there?
The rest.
So McGregor has created a situation where he doesn't even have to say anything. He's got the promoter and his opponent standing up for him.
Why does everyone gotta ask that
He answered
shit?
these questions yesterday on
fuck that.
ESPN. He answered these questions
Can you tell
yesterday.
us?
I've seen people speculate that this interview may have been coordinated, and that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, it's a very controlled environment. You've got Ariel in there, it's one-on-one, multiple camera angles. I mean, I'm not saying the whole interview was coordinated, but it is possible they addressed the allegations here so they could deflect them later. I don't know, but I'm not sure Ariel would cross Conor like that without the go-ahead. Anyway, I would say McGregor played Cerrone like a fiddle, but this happens to be the type of build-up Cowboy enjoys anyway, so it seems mutually beneficial. But it's certainly beneficial for McGregor. I mean, there's a hilarious moment when one journalist gets up there and basically fillets Conor, telling him he's so grateful for the money he's bringing in. And at the end of his question, all three of them are just loving each other. It's fucking ridiculous.
Seeing you here and seeing your name atop the marquee for the top 5 pay-per-views of all time, you're a walking money machine. Everywhere you go, we're all making more money because you're here. Dana's smiling ear to ear, right?
I appreciate that.
All this
I
time,
appreciate
you've been
that.
making all this, and I can't help but see the joy on your face. You didn't look this happy last time we saw you. The joy of getting back to being Conor McGregor, the person, is all over you. Can you just expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, and thank you for noticing. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your acknowledgement of the revenue I bring. You're damn right.
Thank you, Connor. And you're right. You do bring the biggest paydays. You do bring the biggest eyes, Cowboy.
Welcome, Donald. Welcome. You've earned it. You've earned that multi-million-dollar payday, and I'm delighted for you, bro. Yeah, seriously, truly.
Way past red panty night, right? Hey, Dana.
Way past red panty night. Don't you guys just fucking love each other? So yeah, while I think McGregor has been purposely tame, I don't think he could have possibly imagined it would play out so perfectly. I mean, you'd have to think the only way Cerrone be jumping to his defense is if Conor stuck his hand up his ass and used him as a ventriloquist dummy. You got this poor journalist getting booed into another dimension, and then there's this guy. I mean, this guy is just the cherry on top. It's fucking unbelievable. Anyway, that's my best guess at what's going on here. It was probably McGregor's plan to slide in under the radar, avoid negative publicity, and if he beats Cowboy, let the fanfare from his win drown out much of the criticism as he moves forward. That's what I think is going on. As confident as McGregor is, he seems very vulnerable on those subjects. If he's planning another verbal battle with Khabib, Khabib will go for blood. You know, Dana's not pulling Khabib aside and saying, hey, could you not mention the allegations? You know, we don't need all that negative publicity. Khabib will waste no time saying, hey, you're out there, you're fighting old men, and you've got those allegations hanging over you like the fucking sword of Damocles. So, be interesting to see how that plays out. The last build-up was vicious, but the next one could be even worse. Khabib would certainly have a lot more ammunition, and I think he'd use it pretty quickly. Anyway, the other side of this whole thing is that outside the compelling nature of the matchup and the curiosity of Conor's comeback, there's not much to hype here. I mean, what can you say? They've been totally respectful. A lot of people are calling this the most boring press conference of his career. But this is a massive fight in terms of its implications for the sport. This is the first event of 2020, and the result will very likely, more so than any other fight, dictate the tone of the rest of the year. I mean, Conor's saying he's planning on being active, fighting 3 or 4 times.
If you had to pick one of those 3, if Dana came to you with the option and said, look, lightweight title fight, welterweight title fight, Masvidal for the BMF title.
You know, whichever one comes up first, to be honest. I just want activity, right? And whichever one comes up first. Like I said, God willing, I get out safe on Saturday night. Whoever's up next. I know a date was mentioned in March. I am up for March also.
But I'd have to imagine that is entirely contingent upon him beating Cowboy. If he can't beat Cerrone, he loses the Jorge and Khabib fights, and he's in an even worse place from a promotional perspective. In that scenario, I'd have a hard time seeing him proceeding with his season. If he loses, I think there's a strong possibility he fades out of the 2020 landscape entirely. If he wins, though, he'll grease them wheels and get the old hype train rolling again. The cult of personality will probably begin to overshadow his negative press, and he will once again be the most prominent fighter in the world. The year will be dominated by talk of and from Conor McGregor. one of two drastically different realities is likely to emerge Saturday night. In terms of the implications for 2020, this is probably the most significant event of the year. So enjoy the fight, because hype or not, this is a big one.
You're going to see a lot of me. You know, you're going to see a lot of me here, so.